Morning everyone. So today I'll be discussing about matter. Okay, first of all, what is matter? Matter is anything that occupies space and has mass. Okay, so in here is the classification of matter through diagram. So matter is divided into two. The first one, we have the pure substance, and then the pure substance divided into two again. We have the element and the compound. An element divided into three. We have the metal, non-metal, and the metalloid. Okay, next is compound. Compound divided into two. The first one, we have the organic, and the other one, we have the inorganic. The organic divided into two again. The first one is aliphatic, and the second one is aromatic. And inorganic divided into three. The first one, we have the acid, and then the base, and the last one is the salt. Okay, the next one is mixture. Mixture is divided into two. The first one we have the homogeneous, and we have the solution. The next one is the heterogeneous. Heterogeneous divided into two. We have the suspension and the colloid. Okay, now I will discuss about the different classification of matter. The first one, we will discuss about the pure substance. What is pure substance? Pure substance is a matter having definite composition and distinct properties. Okay, pure substance, the first one is the element. Element is a substance that cannot be decomposed into simpler substance, and it is composed of one kind of element. For example, we have the hydrogen and copper and many more. And then element is divided into three. The first one we have metal. Metal is a good conductor of heat and electricity. For example, we have uranium, neodymium, and berkelium, and many more. The second one is the non-metal. Non-metal, just the opposite of metal, the poor conductor of heat and energy. For example, we have iodine, hydrogen, astatine, and many more. The last one is metalloid. Metalloid is an element that exhibits both properties of metal and non-metal. For example, we have germanium, tellurium, arsenic, and many more. Okay, the second one is compound. Compound is a substance that is made of two or more elements. And compound is divided into two. The first one, we have the organic compound. Organic compound consisting of chain or ring of hydrocarbon. And then organic compound is also divided into two. The first one, we have the aliphatic. Aliphatic is an organic compound without any benzene ring. The second one, we have the aromatic. Aromatic is an organic compound consisting of benzene ring. Next is inorganic compound. Inorganic compound is a compound without hydrocarbon. And inorganic compound also divided into three. The first one, we have the acid. Acid is a compound that produces hydrogen ion when diluted in water. The second one, we have the base. Base is a compound that produces hydroxide ion when diluted in water. And the last one, we have salt. Salt is a compound consisting of metallic and non-metallic ion. Okay, so we have hydrocarbon in here. What is the meaning of hydrocarbon? Hydrocarbon is a group of atoms consisting of carbon and hydrogen. Alright, so in here we have some example of base, acid, and salt. The first one we have the NaOH, which is the example of base because in here we have the hydroxide ion, which is in base. That's why NaOH is the example of base. And in here, H2S is the example of acid because in here it consists of the hydrogen ion. That's why this is the example of acid. And in here we have the Na3N is the example of salt. In here we have carbon dioxide, which is the example of the inorganic compound. Why? Because in here it did not consist of any hydrocarbon. That's why carbon dioxide is inorganic. But propane in here is organic because consists of hydrocarbon. We have the carbon and then the hydrogen in here. That's why propane is an organic compound. And in here we have example of aromatic is basically cinnamon because consists of the benzene ring. That's why it's aromatic. And in here we have example of aliphatic because in here is did not consist of any benzene ring. That's why this example is an aliphatic. Okay, the next one we will discuss about mixture. What is mixture? Mixture is combination of two or more pure substance. Okay, mixture is divided into two. The first one we have the homogeneous. Homogeneous is a mixture wherein only one phase is made visible. For example, we have a solution in here which is a homogeneous. Solution is a type of mixture whose particles are too small to be seen and to remain suspended. And some examples of solution is seawater and sugar water. Okay, the second one is the heterogeneous. What is heterogeneous? Heterogeneous is a mixture wherein two or more phases are visible. And heterogeneous divided into two. The first one, we have suspension. Suspension is a type of mixture whose particles are large enough to be seen and remain suspended. For example, we have muddy water and mixture of dust particle and air. The second one, we have colloid. Colloid is a type of mixture whose particles are too small to be seen and to remain suspended. Some of the example of colloid we have mayonnaise, milk, and butter. So in here we can see the difference between the solution, suspension, and colloid. How can we see it? We can see it through the Tyndall effect. So basically Tyndall effect, we just put some light or flashlight in here. And then the light came through this glass jar. That's why we can see the difference between the solution, suspension, and the colloid. And what is Tyndall effect? Tyndall effect refers to the scattering of light in a colloidal system. Okay, the next one we will discuss about the movement of particle. We have 5 phases of matter. We have the solid, liquid, gas, plasma, and the last one is the boost and stain condensate. So we have 2 types of movement particle. The first one we have the diffusion. So basically diffusion is the movement of molecules or particles from a region with higher concentration to a region with lower concentration. For example, is food coloring, as we can see, from high concentration to the low concentration. Okay, the second type of movement of particle, we have osmosis. Osmosis is the movement of water molecules from a region with higher concentration of water to a region with lower concentration of water. Yeah, so this is how osmosis works, from the higher concentration of water molecules to the low concentration of water molecules. Next, we will discuss about the methods of separating mixture. Okay, the first one is filtration. Filtration is the use of layer of filters to separate a mixture of solid and liquid. For example, we have water filter, sand filter, and other example. So this is how filtration works. Okay, the second one is evaporation to dryness. The separation of solid and liquid by exposing the solution to heat and let the liquid evaporate. Some of the example is common salt from a salt solution. So in here we use heat to evaporate, and then the remaining salt will be here. And then we get the salt from the salt solution. The third one, we have centrifugation. Uses centrifugation force to separate each component in the mixture by density difference. One of the example is blood cell and plasma. So in here we can see the before centrifugation and the after centrifugation. Okay, the next one, we have simple distillation. Simple distillation is a type of distillation which is used to separate solid and liquid, wherein the solid is the solute and liquid is the solvent. For example, we have mixture of acetone and water. Yeah, so this is how simple distillation works. Okay, the next one, we have the fractional distillation. Fractional distillation is a type of distillation which separate a solution of both liquid by means of a fractionating column. For example, we have liquid ethanol can be separated from a mixture of ethanol and water. So this is basically how fractional distillation works. Okay, the next one, we have decantation. Decantation separates liquid from the residues using glass rod. One of the example is dirt and water. So in here we have the mixture of dirt and water, and then we pour into another glass rod, and then the dirt will remain in here and the water will transfer to the other glass rod. Okay, the next one is separating using separating funnel. Is used to separate immiscible liquid, for example, oil and water. So this is how separating funnel works. The next one, we have using magnet. Is used to collect metals from the mixtures of solid using magnetism. For example, we are separating iron filling from sand. So if there have iron and sand mixed together, then we want to separate them, we can use magnet because the iron will stick to the magnet and the sand will remain down there. Okay, the next one is the using suitable solvent. Is the use of solvent in which only one solid is soluble to it while the other is insoluble. For example, we have salt and sugar. So here is how the suitable solvent work. So the salt will be separated using the filtration and the sugar will be using the evaporation. The next one, we have the crystallization. Crystallization is used for obtaining a pure solid sample from a solution. For example, we have honey and the final product is the honeycomb. And this is how crystallization process. And the last one, we have chromatography. Chromatography is the method of separating two or more components that dissolve in the same solvent. One of the examples of chromatography is drug testing, and this is how chromatography works in drug testing. Okay, so that is my explanation for matter. Thank you.